I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Name of one Razorback
is vintage Matt Jones.
Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Yuck. We got a whole lot of yuck going on here right now across the state. It is ugly. I've had heavy storms around the home studio for the last about hour and a half to 2 hours. Looks like that's what we're going to be dealing with for not just a good chunk of the day, but maybe over the weekend. And if you look at your Arkansas baseball schedule, I don't know if that's exactly what we're going to be going by when we get into the weekend with Florida coming in for a series at Baum Walker. But, hey, you can only play with what the weather allows you to do and then let the decision makers make their decisions. So I guess that's where we start today on halftime. Good morning. Good morning. Matt Jones back in the ESPN Arkansas studios today. Tomorrow we are live on location, Lumber One in Van Buren. So, Matt, you and I have had an interesting week together. This is the only time we will be in separate rooms for the week. We were in Central Arkansas all throughout the last 3 days. Separated today, not separated tomorrow.
Man, that was cool getting down there, and Little Rock Rangers thing was cool. It was good to see you. It's always fun doing the show when we can hang out. It always has a little different vibe to it. NFL draft today, Phil.
It is. It starts today.
It's a beautiful day. I watched a little, do a little prep for the show. Tried to see. They're talking about maybe 6 quarterbacks to go in the first. I mean, that's just wild.
6 quarterbacks in the first round. I've been trying to look through there's this website, drafthistory.com. Kind of fun to mess around in this here. I don't think there's been a draft with 6 quarterbacks in the first round. You had 3 last year, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, all within the first 4 picks. There were 5 quarterbacks picked in 2021. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Jones was the big surprise going first round that year. I mean, it's not rare to have 3, 4 quarterbacks picked in the first round. 6 would, I think, be a first-time thing.
Wasn't Trey Lance a first-round pick? That was kind of surprising. It's kind of like when you remember when Anthony Bennett went first out of UNLV or wherever he went to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and everybody's like, what's going on? Some of these quarterbacks, it kind of feels like that. Like J.J. McCarthy, if he's drafted in the top 10 picks, I mean, I don't see it. I do not. I'm not saying the kid can't play and he's not going to get better and he can't be an NFL starting quarterback, but man, he's 3 years away minimum. I mean, there's a game against Penn State. I'm talking about a college football game. They didn't even allow him to throw the ball in the 32 snaps they had in the second half.
Wow.
So yeah, that's not a top 10 pick.
They're going to point to his record, as we usually do when we're pointing to quarterbacks, team, yeah. Right? But, I mean, we're talking about a different thing, making an elevation from college to the pros. Maybe running more of a pro-style offense with a pro head coach as your head coach previously. I don't know. But it's like it'll be chalk. The first 3 picks are pretty much already decided. You're going to have, we know Caleb Williams is going to the Bears. He's probably already been looking for real estate in Chicago by now. Washington is going to be taking Jaden Williams.
Daniels.
Or Jaden Daniels. Well, I don't know if it's Jalen Williams because he's playing basketball right now. 2 of them.
Hey, they just had their biggest postseason win in Oklahoma City history. You're right.
And Drake May expected to go 3rd to the Pats, and then after that, will Arizona go with a receiver? Are they going to go with one of the top receivers? They're going to go with a tackle. They're going to go with a quarterback. They got Kyler Murray. That's where maybe some more of the intrigue, where the intrigue really starts, because 1 through 3 are pretty much decided.
Yeah, I'm a Drake May fan. I think Caleb Williams has a lot of talent, and a lot of it depends on where you end up, kind of the people you're around. I still think the reigning Heisman Trophy, the LSU kid, I still think at number 2 that's a reach, and maybe he proves me wrong. I'm not rooting against the kid. I want him to have all the success in the world. But what I've seen, I just do not see him being the number 2 pick in the draft. I mean, that's a Washington Redskin culture that that's not setting him up for success. That could be one of those deals where, in 4 years he's like Justin Fields, he's going to be on the move. I don't know that I'd want to go to the Redskins either.
Well,
or the Commanders, sorry.
You'd say the same thing about the Bears really throughout their entire existence. But Caleb Williams is going to be the savior, right? Along with a new man. What a big day for the Bears! You see, they've now announced plans for a new stadium right there by. I think they want to build it right next door to where Soldier Field is currently stands.
That's a good field, man. Soldier Field. They have the thicker grass, the longer. I mean, you can tell it's kind of like Tom Brady not knowing the weight in a football. Because we know he knows the answer. He knew the weight in it. The fields, you can put him on a list of how good certain fields are. Soldier Field's a good field.
Did you play at the new? Because Soldier Field was redone. I think it was 20 years ago. You must have played in the newer.
08 would have been my last year that we played.
That had to have been the newer, more spaceship looking.
Man, it was
Soldier Field.
Grass was lush. Still to this day, the Kentucky field at Lexington. That was the best field I ever played on, as far as the grass and how it felt.
I can't. In a couple of weeks we go to Kentucky for baseball. So I'm gonna have to get. I'll need an X-Acto knife. I'll get an X-Acto knife. I will cut out a little square of the fake stuff just to send to you, because for somebody that talks, because you've talked quite a bit about how the Kentucky football field, which probably wasn't called Kroger Field then, I think it was Memorial Stadium. There's the nicest turf, and yet we're going to a place where they don't have any natural surfaces at all. So people love getting I even have old Ray Winterfield dirt here in my little office that you saw the other day. I used to have a little piece of Three River Stadium AstroTurf.
Nice.
You're gonna get nostalgic about carpet. I'm gonna send you this stuff, but they're gonna have to make sure. I have to do it probably under the covers of night, sort of like Bull Durham guys track Crash Davis sneaking into the stadium to turn the water on and then run the bases and get themselves a rain out. You can picture this. Friday, after the game is over, this is in 2 Fridays next week in Lexington. Game is over. I got a rental car. Don't have to be on the team bus. I'll just wait for the stadium lights to be turned off. I'll just creep downstairs. No one will know what's going on. It'll be 1 o'clock in the morning, and I will section off about a foot, 1 foot by 1 foot of fake stuff just for you, Matt Jones. You just have to promise you put it up on your wall.
Absolutely. Put it up here in this studio. Is the baseball field artificial or is it natural grass?
No, the whole thing is artificial.
Now, see, Kentucky should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, you're the bluegrass state, for crying out loud. I mean, and you're doing that. It's the
green carpet state now. You hadn't heard?
Golly.
They've actually changed the nickname of the state to the green carpet state. We're happy that John Calipari isn't our coach here any longer, but we're still going to bother you about all of our former commits that are visiting you, which of course this is the big visit week. This is big visit week number 1, I guess would be the right way to put it. Yesterday you saw the photo, and there was a video of I don't know if I'm saying the kid's name properly. Boogie Flan? Is the D silent? Is it Fland? Is it Flan? I'm not sure how do you say this kid's name. So now we had to practice saying Big Z's full name. Or you may have to practice how to say Boogie Flan's name. So someone help out with that. Billy Richmond visited yesterday. Jonas Adu sometime in the next couple of days. Big visit weekend, Matt, although I don't think they actually title something like that right now.
Hey, man, whenever they sign up, whenever they're here, then I'll start learning about them. That's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the kids.
Well, you know about Jonas Adu. I mean, about him.
Who is that?
That's the guy. He's the big guy from Tennessee. He was their star.
They're
forward.
a big guy. He's
in the portal.
He's in the portal. I like that kid. Yeah, as far as his game, I've seen him play, but is he going to be a Razorback? We don't know. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. When he's a Razorback, then I'll tell you how much I like him. But
first things first.
Yeah, man. This is crazy, man. It's absolutely bananas. I can't talk about all the speculations of who's going to be here. Just let me know when we got a team, and then I'll tell you if we're any good or not.
Hey, there's the sixth man on Rutgers I heard has gone into the transfer portal. You think he would fit? Do you think he might fit? I don't
That's
have
like
an answer for you.
that's like talking about the third string linebacker in spring football. You're just like, come on, we can't talk about the third string. When he gets there, when he gets there, and we don't call him a number anymore, we know his name. We'll talk about him.
Ethan tells me he's pretty sure it's fland. Like, we don't want it to rhyme with bland. I don't want a bland basketball player for John Calipari's first year at Arkansas, Ethan. But I think you gave me a proper pronunciation, so thank you. Can it be fland like gland? I'll go gland instead of bland. He doesn't. Hey, if he's as good as advertised, he's nothing anywhere close to being bland.
It's like the Step Brothers skit. Is it pammed? Pammed? Is it? No, there's a D after it. No, we're interviewing you.
The D is silent. It's actually two N's on the end of the
You know
last
what?
name.
Now the tuxedos are a little weird. Now it's kind of a little weird.
So it feels like the right time to get out of this segment here and tell you what's going on halftime today, which includes Brett Dolan at 1:15, Bob Holt in about an hour, and nobody but you and me and my stepbrother in the other studio over there is wearing a tuxedo. And calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Did we just become best friends? Yeah. Halftime's back in a moment.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit MaverickMaleMedical.com.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot buys at any of our 4 locations. 40-pound Barnyard Menorahs only $2.27, limit 20. Boston or asparagus fern baskets are only $11.99. Miracle Grow 1 cubic foot all-purpose garden soil, 2 bags, only $10. And get the DeWalt 20-volt trimmer and blower, only $1.99 with your Ace Rewards card. Find us online at JagersHardware.com.
The adventure starts at Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
We find along streams and rivers that we just have to stop in and check out their lures. Kind of off the beaten path and probably a little rustic. Well, we have that same kind of place right here in the heart of Fort Smith. For almost 50 years, the Tackle Box has been serving up all the supplies and equipment you could ever think of and more. The Tackle Box, 3001 Street, Fort Smith.
The adventure starts at Tackle Box for sportsmen just like you.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts need, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Pay attention. This happens fast. You need money. You get a job. Turns out that job doesn't pay near enough for the nonsense it puts you through every day. You want to move fast, but the clock moves slow. You're smart, though. You know machines. You want to work at a place as fast as you. You call Medley Equipment Company. They need a technician, and they'll teach you everything you need to know to be the best, with pay raises all along. Because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm Branch Manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on remaining 2023 Buick Envisions. Or choose up to $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision, it's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
In this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine, people tell me there ain't no use in trying. Now, my girl, you're so young and pretty, and one thing I know is true. You'll be dead before your time is due. I know. Watch my daddy, baby. Watch his habit turn. He's been working and slaving his life away. Oh, yes, I know.
Find halftime in 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I saw this question asked earlier in another forum, and it's a good one to start some conversation about not about the merits of what the Heisman Trust has done by giving Reggie Bush his Heisman back, but the idea of, we're going back, what is it, 21 years?
14?
What, 20, no, what year did he win the Heisman?
It would have been 14 years ago.
14 years ago?
Yes,
2010?
2008, maybe?
Well, whenever it happened, you're going back in history now to change something that feels wrong, okay? This isn't a matter of, a team blew a lead or, somebody.
2005, sorry.
It was 2005, so it was about 20 years, 19 years. It's the opportunity to in their minds, and I think a lot of people's minds, right or wrong. What would you change if you could go back in time, or not even go back in time, just looking at the idea that there's replay now, that some rules have changed in the last 20, 25 years, 30 years. What do you think is what would you be amenable to change? The first thing that I would do is I would give Armando Galarraga his perfect game. Remember the kid from the Detroit Lions? I think that was 2010 or 2011. He's 1 out away from the perfect game, and the umpire, Jim Joyce, blows the call at first base, which was an obvious blown call. It's before the advent of instant replay. You could tell immediately. The next day, Galarraga goes out to give out the lineup card at the pregame meeting, and Joyce apologizes to him right there on the field. And now we're in a world. So they're in a world now in Major League Baseball where you can change an official scoring decision a week after the game occurs. So you can go back in time now and change, a pass ball to a wild pitch, an error to a base hit, that kind of thing. I feel like it would be okay if we went back 15, 16 years from now and said, you know what, maybe we'll take a base hit away. I don't remember the guy who ended up being safe at first. Take the hit away from him and give Galarraga his perfect game. Because to me, that is one of the most egregiously missed calls of all time. It has nothing to do with the breaking a rule, but the rule then was that there was no instant replay. There is replay now. It is incredibly demonstrable that he was out at first base. Give Armando Galarraga the perfect game.
Mine would be the year that the Phoenix Suns had it rocking and rolling and were just doing his thing, Steve Nash MVP, and they had a little brawl at the end of the game, like a little thing, and they were so letter to the rule, like they suspended like 7 of the Suns. I mean, it was just they totally took that. The Suns, Steve Nash should have won an NBA title. Like that would have been the one I would. And the rule was because there wasn't any malice to it but they were like, oh, he stepped a foot on the court, he can't play, and it's like, come on, but they just had the malice in the palace with Ron Artest, so they were heavy-handed back. It was kind of that, and they were trying to be, shed the skin of being a thug, because Allen Iverson would just wear T-shirts, and now they make you dress up or whatever, like all the stuff they were being weird about. But that would be the one that I would change, is let Phoenix have all their bullets and give them a chance to see if they could have won a title that year.
C-Unit texted to me, said Jordan pushed off. Did you? Obviously, he was covering the NCAA tournament in Salt Lake City this year, which, remember, that was they haven't gotten over it, not like you ever would, if you feel like this was an egregious missed call by the NBA officials in the finals that year. Jordan pushed off was the Wi-Fi password at the Delta Center for the NCAA tournament this last March. So there's one for you. Yeah, so here's one. Brandon in Paris would give Steve Bartman a different seat. Now that you can be the ticketing director for the Chicago Cubs now, Brandon. We're taking you back to 2003. And this gentleman, now we don't know how Bartman bought the ticket, whether he bought it from the Cubs or whether he bought it on the secondary market. This was 2003, so I don't know if StubHub was around then. I'm sure there were plenty of online forums where you could buy tickets and scalp them and things like that. But yes, any Cubs fan, now you've won the World Series since then, so you did break the curse, but any Cubs fan, I think if they were to take one of those things that they would make a change in, and it'd be difficult to figure out how to do it, but you would ban Steve Bartman from sitting in that seat. You would have somebody sit there who would have the opposite reaction of what Bartman did, which was go for the pop-up and get in Moises Alou's way, and you would go for somebody that would go in the other direction, that would back up, that actually might clear the space to help Alou make the catch, and then maybe the Cubs do go to the World Series that year instead of the Florida Marlins. I like that one. And Ethan and Atkins I was going to go with this one first, but I was waiting to see how quickly a Cardinals fan that was alive in 1985 would go to Don Denkinger, because that's the one that has there ever been a more of an egregious missed call in a World Series, at least? I'm racking my brain about Super Bowls and NBA Finals, and even the Jordan pushed off thing is more of a gray area. The deal with Denkinger and who was it? Todd Worrell covering first base on the dribbler. And not only was he was it easily that he was out, there is a famous painting of Worrell's foot on the base. I can't remember the hitter, who it was that was called safe. And his foot is above the base, and it's just, some heartbroken Cardinals fan had that up on his or her wall. And that's one of the worst calls of all time. So that would be on my list too.
Well, and you would take away everybody who voted Troy Smith first in the Heisman ballot.
There you go.
Because you would be like watching that season. That I can't believe another word you say about football if you actually think that's true. It's like Doug Gottlieb said, I can't argue basketball with you if you can't make a left-handed layup. If you can't see that right there, that Darren McFadden is not better than Troy Smith, I don't know what to tell you.
Felt more egregious than Charles Woodson over Peyton Manning.
Charles Woodson's an OG. He's one of the.
So too.
I don't think I have no problem with that right there.
I didn't either. That's one that Bill King is always taking with him. Always.
Charles Woodson is, if he's you think Travis Hunter's good for the kid from Colorado. These kids don't know. Go watch Charles Woodson would be just as good now, and his longevity, the way he went about it, man, he's OG.
So I also thought of, and knowing this as a Steelers fan, I was only 3 years old when it happened, but the Oilers and the Steelers at Three River Stadium, 1980 AFC Championship game, Mike Renfro caught a ball in the back of the end zone. He was called for being out of bounds, and he was most definitely in bounds. That's a huge swing play, and I think it was in the second half, a huge swing play in that championship game that could have led to the Oilers actually making a Super Bowl, which they never did there. Houston still has never had a team play in the Super Bowl. That's one that would be near the top of the pro football list. You know, I've got one from the 2005 Texas League Championship Series where the plate umpire forgot the count in the final at-bat of the year. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
The Colorado 4 downs. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
The fifth down.
The
Sorry.
fifth down play. That's right. All of these, though, are based upon the idea of instant replay fixes missed calls on a field. The deal with the Heisman Trophy Trust is totally different from this. This is a rules change by the NCAA, which has now made us view, I guess some of us, and I guess the Heisman Trust is full of people that do view it this way. It was against the rules then. Now it's viewed as, well, so it was against the rules then, but it also wasn't fair to the student athletes at that moment. And that's why the rules have changed since then. It was not a system that was economical for the student athletes, at least when it came to being what was legal, deemed legal by the NCAA. This is a rules change thing that has caused this conversation. And again, I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. But it is to be viewed in a different vein than missed calls on a field, because now we have instant replay that we feel we can trust. This is like a paradigm shift of how you view what a student athlete is.
Well, and what's considered the best NBA draft ever is it the 2003 NBA draft. The Detroit Pistons on the clock. We now take Darko Milicic. Carmelo Anthony was still on the board.
Draft picks you'd like to have back.
That one right there. I mean, right?
I mean, come on, we're talking about quarterbacks going first overall or second overall or third overall. You brought up Trey Lance. Would the Jets like another go-around on Zach Wilson? I don't remember who. I mean, at the top of my head, I can't remember who was available at that moment, but I'm sure there were probably 500 other players that the Jets would rather have now.
You know what I think might be a smokescreen tonight, and we got all day to get into the draft a little bit the first round, and a guy that's definitely going to go is Brock Bowers. I thought he would be a guy that would trend up, that he would, somebody like in the top 4 might go out there, and I think he's that good. I've seen him going in drafts like 11, 12. Like, there's no way Brock Bowers makes it outside the top 10. Like, there's no way.
Well, so any of the quarterbacks that are going to go in the draft here in those top 10, nobody's a sure thing. I can't buy into the idea of any quarterback being a sure thing going from college to the pros. It's just, I think it's got to be the biggest jump in all of sports. You know, I talk about like a Heston Kjerstad or a Jackson Holliday who were dominating at AAA trying to get to the big leagues, and they get up there and Holliday's 1 for 34. Kjerstad had an 0 for 3 strikeouts. They didn't have games like that at AAA. Going from college to the pros at that position at the NFL, the most complex position to play in all of sports, I can't look at anybody as being a sure thing. Brock Bowers? You damn right I look at him as a sure thing. Catch the ball, run your route, run with the ball. That's what he did at Georgia. Yes, Malik Neighbors, sure thing. What was the stat you found out about wide receivers in the first round?
I'll have to look at this to see, but Dan Orlovsky, he's a UConn guy, played in the league for a while. He said out of the last 3 drafts, only out of the last 28 receivers taken in the first round, only 3 have been bust. Like, only 3 haven't really performed to what you kind of thought was their talent level. And I think the receiver. I mean, it's such a receiver game getting the balls in space right now. But that's a crazy stat. Phil, when you talk about the top 7 receivers in the draft, I think all 7 of them are going to hit. Like, you're looking at them like, I don't really see, they're a little, it's like, man, he's kind of good. Those 2 kids from LSU, 2 kids from Washington, Ohio, he's like, man, he can play at the next level.
Texas got a couple guys.
Speed. And that's the other thing. And I was thinking, I couldn't hear the question Brian asked the other day very well, but if you run a 4.3 at the combine, I don't think there's in the last 25, 35 years, there's never been a guy run a legitimate 4.3 not go in the top 100 picks. I mean, you're going to go.
There we are for the first 30 minutes or so, setting that conversation for you. And there's so much else to get into here as we have lots on halftime this afternoon. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Got some news about the Arkansas baseball pitching rotation for the weekend against the Florida Gators, and we'll get into that in just a moment.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
The best selection of RVs is now even better.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right. Everybody wants to know what's going to go on with the weather this weekend for Arkansas baseball. Man, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I got no inside info as to what the plan is. I can only tell you about what I see on the weather app. And I think some of you out there have a better weather app than I do. So all I see is there's probably a window for Friday night. I see a lot of rain all day Sunday. I kind of see what we saw last weekend against South Carolina, which was good luck trying to play baseball outdoors in Fayetteville on Sunday. You might have a chance to get both games in on Saturday. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're on schedule for Friday night, maybe probably a doubleheader on Saturday. But I'm only saying that with no inside info whatsoever. That's just what Dave said in the pre-series presser.
You're going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
Phil
That's
be
right.
at the stadium.
That's right, yeah. Whether you're making plans or not, whether the weather has anything to do with what time you're going to show up, when they tell me the game's going to start, I will be there at least 2.5 hours ahead of time,
And
whatever
Bubba
the
too,
time
right?
is.
And it's a home game, so you get your there you go.
I get Bubba back. That's right. Now, I don't know if he'll be there 2.5 hours before first pitch, but I definitely will. It's just how it is. Outside of that, there is a change in the weekend rotation, and it's being forced by an injury, not by any decision making. I do think that this weekend would have been the time that you could have seen Mason Molina go back to throwing the third game of the series and having Brady Tigert start the second game of the series. But now, out of necessity, Tigert does move to Saturday, and they have not announced a starting pitcher for Sunday. It's an ankle injury. Molina's left ankle push-off foot. So it doesn't sound like it's anything very serious, though. Now, I worry about when it comes to pitchers, that push-off foot, you want to make sure it's 100% when you're pitching, because if you don't have full control of that ankle and that foot and it feels right, that can lead to all sorts of mechanical problems and therefore maybe some issues that lead to arm injury. So, I mean, you have to be cautious, even when it comes to a pitcher's foot. So they say he's at 90%. He might have been able to pitch this weekend if necessary, but next weekend is, I think, what they're targeting against Kentucky. I'm talking about this, reminded myself of who was the Penguins player who had an ankle injury in the playoffs. You know, hockey players, it's like, well, if a pitcher can't push off, what about a hockey player? Well, you can actually start gliding, but these guys, they are gluttons for punishment. I think hockey players probably have the best, the highest pain threshold outside of maybe football players.
Defensive players are built different. Yeah, I mean, there's some tough son of a guns over there. That's for sure.
There was a Penguins defenseman named Peter Taglianetti who that went on the telecasts, who had a bad ankle sprain, and in order to get his foot inside the skate, he would stick a plastic bag filled with peanut butter in the skate in order for it to just sort of like smoothly put it in. And I don't remember if he had the peanut. I used to think, because I'm like 13 or 14. I'm like, wait a minute, is he like playing with a bag of peanut butter in his skate? That sounds a little bit funny. I hope he wasn't, but in my mind then, he was.
Yeah, the thing that football players can do, it's always, Phil, whenever you have to go get a bigger, when you have to go see the equipment guy and say, yeah, I need a bigger size shoe because my foot's swollen the size of a grapefruit, and that's never a good thing. But the thing
it is Florida. You're playing in Florida, right? It had to be citrus.
Right. The thing about a football player that's different between and I want to say a hockey player, I don't know that they can do this based on the nature of the cleat. I mean of the blade. Basketball, you can't do it because you can't grip on the floor. Football, you can tape inside the shoe and then tape over the cleat as well. It's called a spat. It's your double. That having that two right there, that's big time. So that kind of gives you a little extra. I don't know. It probably improves the healing by 10%. You know, it helps a little bit.
Well, they do very special devices at the Hunt Center and really all around Arkansas athletics to get these sort of injuries to heal a bit quicker than they used to heal. So, and I mean, we'd find out, I guess the next time Molina would pitch or could pitch would be the Sunday against Kentucky. So that's a while off. He'll have plenty of time to rest. And, you know, they kept Ben Bybee to just 2 innings against UAPB on Tuesday. And the week before, they were going to let him go 5 innings. The week before that, he went 5 innings. So I think they were limiting his pitch count in order to have him ready to go in case he starts Sunday. Now, this is the first weekend that Arkansas goes with a TBA for Sunday. Heck, it was like every weekend last year it was a TBA for Sunday. And even in the 2021 year, when you're ranked number 1 all year, it was a TBA on Sunday quite a bit. So this is the first time for that to occur. I do think it'll be Bybee, but they just haven't announced that. As far as Florida's concerned, they've got to figure out what their rotation looks like. They've been going with Brandon Neely, who had been closing for them last year and really was a great closer, but their pitching's been in a mess. So he's moved to Fridays for the last 4 weeks. They've tried a couple of different pitchers for the second game of the series, Liam Peterson and Pierce Coppola the last 2 weeks. Coppola's gotten knocked around. He's got an ERA of 18. And then they go with Jack Caglino, and I think that's who they basically always go to in the last game of the series, so that his arm feels fine and he can play first base for the first 2 games of the series. So, you know, it's the Gator. This is not too bad of an issue, I think, for Arkansas, because this is a team that's so deep in pitching that I'm actually really interested to see if Bybee does get the start, or maybe if it's Colin Fisher that starts, how they do against an SEC team, because Bybee has not pitched against an SEC team yet, and you may need him to do that later on. But it's Florida that's got the problem. This is a team that's got a 6.35 earned run average. They have the highest ERA of any team when it comes to SEC action, and they're going into a ballpark where the Hogs have actually hit the ball pretty well this year. So you definitely have an upper hand. And then there's the added idea that it's Florida that's got to kind of keep their bags packed and be ready to kind of jump out and go play 2 on a Saturday. But we do have a nice little locker area for the visiting teams, or at least a big room that can go sit and get some air conditioning. So that can be all right. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Jamie asking about Dylan Carter. Carter's healthy. He's fine. He's ready to pitch. We'll see him pitch at some point. It's just he's kind of down on the depth chart, so it's not going to be it's not going to be where he was if he was healthy, if fully healthy, and wasn't hurt from last year. So I think by that time he would have been closing some games, but you got a lot of options to close ball games. There was a tie game in college baseball yesterday, Matt, and not for the usual reason. I saw where Arkansas State and who was it? Appalachian State had a tie game Sunday, but that's because of a travel curfew. You know, a lot of these teams are either on a bus or they're on commercial flights, and so you can't start an inning after 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock at night, depending on what time their travel plans are. So you do have the occasional tie in college baseball. There have been 7 tie games this year. The one that occurred yesterday, though, is for a different purpose, and I just wonder how many ballparks out there in Division I baseball don't have lights, because Indiana and Ball State, First of all, they were postponed from Tuesday, so Indiana stayed around in Ball State. What town is Ball State in? I forget.
It's
where
Kentucky
that is.
or Indiana, though, right?
It's in Indiana.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
in. I can't remember the name of the town that Ball State is in.
Wouldn't
Anyway, they stayed there. They go play. They play 12 innings. There's all this back and forth, and there's no lights at the Ball State ballpark, so it got too dark. They had to stop the game at the end of 12 innings and finish in a tie.
Wouldn't you start that game at 11 a.m., noon at the latest? Like, wouldn't you, if you know that you have no lights and it's a makeup game and you're trying to get home, wouldn't you start it early enough? Like,
I guess I would too, yeah.
Yeah, you
Just
start
in
that
case.
game at noon.
I guess you just don't anticipate that you're
Well-
going to play 12 innings, and I don't know if they played 5 hours or what. And we're at the point now where the sun stays out until after 7 o'clock. But if you don't have lights, the shadows can get to a really dangerous place. But that just has to suck, doesn't it? I mean, if it's for a travel curfew, it's understood. I mean, that's you know what your plans are. Going into the weekend. But you also know when you show up at a ballpark with no lights, it's like, well, what happens if we keep playing? Because this game sometimes, we don't put the runner at second base in extra innings like they do in Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. This could actually take a while. Heck, Georgia played a 15-inning game on Tuesday. They've got lights at Foley Field, so good thing for them. I mean, it's 2024. I look back on the Ball State website. They're talking about how they've totally rebuilt the stadium 10 years ago and, this and that about the ballpark. And it was just, well, they forgot to leave out one very important detail. They can't play any baseball at night in Muncie, Indiana. It's Muncie. That's the name of the town where Ball State is located, where David Letterman went to school. It's the real reason to celebrate Ball State University, David Letterman, and that at some point they might get lights on the field. Did you ever play in a tie game? You played in some of the longest overtime games in college football. So I know you didn't play in a tie with the Razorbacks.
We had a game in Poto. I was an 8th grader, and it was a 9th grade team, and it's a non-conference game to start the season. And we go over there, and they got a pretty good squad. We had some athletes on our team. Josh Bromley, Eric Ray. I mean, we had some studs up there, and the referees they threw a pass to the guy late in the game. And he dropped, it bounces on he falls down and it drops and it bounces on the ground, but he rolls on top of it and the ref goes complete. And it's like, clearly everybody can see that it's incomplete, but it's home field advantage. And that game ended in a tie. And the ref came up and the other coach came up and asked the coach, said, hey, do you want to, we finish ties around here. And he's like, no, we don't play with refs that bad right there. We're going to end this as a tie. So yeah, that would be the one.
Hey, we are right up against a break. Want to get to your phone calls in a moment, so if you can hold through the break, we'll take the calls at right when we come back on halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
This is halftime.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Looking for a change? For a limited time, we're offering up to a $15,000 hiring bonus and a $3,000 referral bonus for maintenance techs, including electricians and refrigeration techs. Ask a friend who works at Simmons for more information, and you can both win. Simmons offers vacation matching, a 401k plan, and premium health care for team members and their families through our care clinics at no additional cost. Learn more at workatsimmons.com or stop by the Fort Smith City Hiring Center at 4900 Rogers Avenue, Suite 103 in Fort Smith. Find out more about the $15,000 hiring bonus and start getting paid sooner with same-day hiring options. We look forward to seeing you.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Gonna stay back my even trying. Ain't seen no whiskey. Gonna make me sloppy. Ain't no whiskey.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Heading right to the McClarty Daniel hotline, Brent in Searcy is here with us, and thanks for holding through the break. Brent, what's going on?
Not much, Phil, man. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. I'm dry. Feels good.
Oh, that's great. Hey, Phil, what's the I know last night I heard, what's the weather for this weekend series supposed to, are we going to be able to get in 3 games, Phil?
I think it's going to be wet this weekend. I anticipate a Friday night game and then maybe 2 on Saturday. There's no decisions that are made.
Okay, all right. So Friday night and a double dip on Saturday.
Look, I am not making the decisions on this, Brent. I am not in on the conversations about when they're going to try to play or what time they might try to play. I can only react to the decisions that they make and give you an opinion about it. But don't take my opinion for this as God's word on what's going to happen this weekend, because I have no idea.
Okay, and Phil, I really enjoyed hearing your voice on ESPN Plus for the UAPB game. I wish
Thank you.
there was a way ESPN could let you listen to the radio feed of the Vision team on their Plus concepts. I really do, because you were absolutely fantastic on the radio.
Thank you very much,
You and
Brent.
Bubba both.
I appreciate that. Well, Bubba wasn't there. Bubba doesn't do the games away from Baum Walker unless it's postseason. But it would be a nice thing for the SEC network to try to pull off. MLB.com does that. You can hear the visiting radio feed, no matter where it is. In fact, you can hear the visiting radio feed over the home telecast. I'm pretty sure about that. So maybe at some point they'll lead to that happening in college baseball. Good to hear from you, Brent. Thank you very much. I just did that broadcast like it was a radio broadcast. I mean, I might have said something about welcome into the television viewers and everything, but it didn't feel like a television broadcast for me. I just did it as a radio broadcast. But I think people also liked it because Arkansas won 11-1. It's kind of funny how it works like that.
It's nice to win.
It does. It does. Remember about Crabtree RV Center when you're looking for a new RV for your family's adventures? Right at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma beside the Cracker Barrel. You can also go to crabtreerv.com for more information. Yeah, a lot of people are asking, what's going to go on with the games? What's the inside info on the games this weekend? Hey, ask God what the weather's going to do. I really don't know. I'm just going to react to what they tell me to do when the games are supposed to start, and then I'll kind of go from there. If I find out anything in the next 2 hours, y'all will be the first to know too, okay? Stay with Halftime. We'll be right back.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Insurance company throwing you a curveball? Are they crowding the plate and not offering you a fair settlement? If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need an experienced attorney to fight for you. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma, no win, no fee. Call Mock Legal Solutions today for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
This summer, take control of your outdoor space with a mosquito misting system from Mosquito Joe. It's the ultimate solution for mosquito-free living. Mosquito Joe installs cutting-edge misting systems discreetly around areas such as pools, patios, and boat docks to create a protective barrier that banishes those annoying bugs. The best part is, you don't have to do a thing. It's like having a mosquito control technician in your yard 24/7. Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and thunderstorms becoming likely. Will be in the low 60s north, low 70s south. Chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight, and overnight low upper 50s to low 60s. And some active weather on Friday. Showers and thunderstorms could be strong to severe. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got to take it here. Nothing perspective.
Live from the Bush Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Jones, man, take it to the house.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com to halftime into hour number 2. I'm Phil Elson with my man Matt Jones in our ESPN Arkansas studios and the C Unit Christian Johnston producing. We'll be talking with Bob Holt in about 15 minutes about, whatever we can find out under the sun. You got the NFL draft starting tonight. I don't think there's really too much of a reason to wonder about where Arkansas players are going in the draft today because nobody's being drafted today. Maybe somebody goes tomorrow, so and kick that around a little bit tomorrow. I have been corrected by Gary in Fayetteville about the Don Denkinger call in 1985, the World Series, where you're asking about, since we're giving Reggie Bush his Heisman back, what egregious call or what overturned rule would you like to see overturn a play that did your heart some damage all those years ago? And I had forgotten that Denkinger's call on a grounder by Jorge Orta was the leadoff of the ninth inning. Wasn't the last out. So the Cardinals had other chances. Still, I do say, leadoff batter, 1-run game, ninth inning, game 6 of a World Series. That changes. That'll change the outcome of a game. But then he points out that Jack Clark muffed a popped up foul ball, and so there were more mistakes other than just the Denkinger call. Still, I would say if he makes that call correctly, you have 1 out, nobody on base. It's a heck of a lot different than the tying run on first base and nobody out. But your call is definitely your text is definitely taken under advisement. And I did find a draft with 6 quarterbacks in the first round, Matt, and it is the most famous draft of the most famous class of quarterbacks ever.
83, right?
83,
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Was that Ken O'Brien, John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino?
No, Elway. Yeah, Elway was number 1 over. No, Elway was 83.
83.
83, and then you get Blackledge, who went 7th overall.
Blackledge, yeah.
Blackledge is the one that we always forget about.
That's right, because Ken O'Brien went to the Jets. Marino to the Dolphins. He's a Pittsburgh guy. Did the Steelers take a first rounder in that?
No.
Yeah, okay.
See, and they would have. The story goes is that they were thinking about taking Marino, and part of it was Bradshaw had it was elbow surgery the year before, and he convinced them that he was healthy, which he was not. So it would have been great. See, and all those years later, it almost felt like they tried to right a wrong by taking Kenny Pickett in the first round.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't work out the way that it might have worked out with Marino.
Nostalgia, it's very powerful.
So there's another quarterback that I think a lot of folks forget about from that 1983 draft in the first round. And he got to a Super Bowl too. Heck, he got to a Super Bowl before Elway and I guess right after Marino did. And before Kelly did. Tony Eason.
Tony Eason, the Patriots.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, they had Steve Grogan in that 85 year.
That's the year the Bears beat him?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I think Grogan was the starter. Eason might have played in that Super Bowl, though, because they were just getting trashed.
What, man, we got to have some throwbacks. Those 85 Patriot uniforms,
The squatting Patriot?
Those are so sick. Like and I'm not even a Patriots fan. But those uniforms, and then the Bears were sick then. The Dolphins, those 80, like 82, 84 uniforms were pretty good. We got to have a real throwback. When they have, because don't they do like the color burst on Thursdays where they all
color rush?
Yeah, they color rush. They have the throwback Thursday.
They could combine the Dolphins with the old Patriot. You get a squatting dolphin, which I don't even think dolphins can do that. You got to have legs if you're going to squat.
Ace Ventura find them.
That's right. Charlie's on hold here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Charlie, what's going on? How are you?
What's up, fellas? Matt Jones, happy NFL draft day, because you kind of know what this is like, right? I mean, it's a crazy day. Happy for all these kids. Man, I was looking, actually went back and looked at something, and they said, I was looking, and I searched you, and it said top 10 NFL combine results of all time, and you're number 10 on this list. And the first line I see is that these people were shocked by your combine results. And I'm thinking to myself, did they not watch this guy play at Arkansas? But what were they shocked by? Your vertical? The fact that you almost jumped 40 inches? What was the deal there, man? I mean, heck, I knew you could run a 4.3. What were they most shocked by when they saw Matt Jones that day? Let me know, Matt.
I don't know. I think most people feel, like most people say, hey, I run a 4.4. You go ask every receiver, they say they run a 4.4, and they don't, and so I don't know. It was a good day though.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you this though, because this might be a stupid question to ask somebody that really boosted you get to the first round, because of your results in the combine. Do you think at times though, that's overblown a little bit, that the combine is over, like from the standpoint, because what's the offensive lineman's name that had a terrible combine? Is it Orlando Brown? And he fell to like the fourth round. He wound up being a pretty good tackle in the league. He's still in the league now. I can't remember who took him. It might have been Baltimore. I don't remember who took him. But my point is it more about the tape to you than it is, say, the combine? And that may be a stupid question to ask you because, you had an unbelievable combine. So how do you kind of balance the two out, or do you just, go with your gut? I'm not a scout. I don't know. So I wonder what your thoughts were on that.
Thanks, Charlie.
The combine is like the icing to the cake. It's 5%. It's 10. You get to see everybody. Game tape. You got to see how they play the game. But the combine kind of helps. And for me, I was changing position, so it really helped. Because it's quarterback to receiver. If I would have ran a 4.78, it would have been a totally different story.
Well, that's kind of how I view like the idea of why would a quarterback who performs so well in a combine struggle to play the sport? Well, you got to play a game. I mean, how can you get a sense of how a quarterback can handle the complexity of what that position is, that it sometimes so often has nothing to do with arm strength or maneuverability or foot speed, and all those things matter. But I mean, that's the most complex position in sports. You got to see. I don't think anybody really ever knows until you get into a regular season game, not a preseason game. I mean, a regular season game.
You're processing a lot of information, and the thing, that's why I talk about college kids getting reps, because you have to start processing and managing games. 1st and 10 where we are in the play clock, 3rd and 7 in the third quarter. You get used to being in these plays. You get used to seeing both safeties outside the half. You get used to seeing rotation. So hopefully but these quarterbacks, by the time they get to the NFL, you have to know there's just basic stuff you have to know that we don't think about, and then you're learning a new playbook, and now you're doing other things, and the defensive coordinator is going to be better. It's tough. It's tough being a quarterback. I think being a quarterback's up there is as far as you looking in sport. There's not. Let's just say this. There's not 32 of them. I mean, I know there is by names, but there's not 32 of them that can win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's. You
mean 32 quarterbacks with a capital Q?
Right. There you go. It's a hard position to play.
Mark and Rogers is next up on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Hi, Mark. Thanks for calling. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are y'all?
Great. Thank you.
Long-time texter, first-time caller.
Way to go.
I think your topic today is really the reason I'm calling. Normally I wouldn't do this, but it's pretty intriguing to me. I'd love to do a poll of all Razorback fans. If you thought about the 3 plays you'd like to overturn the most in the history of the athletic program, I think you've got U.S. Reed in 78, I believe it was, dribbling off his foot against Indiana State. You've got Carson Shaddy, and you've got Clem Sterner. I think it's a pretty tough call. I think most people might pick Carson Shaddy because of the ramifications, but I got to tell you, I didn't speak to anybody for a week after the Clem Sterner deal because it was just a gut punch, and I still think we could have went on to great things. I'd love your thoughts on all that. I'd love to hear from Eddie and Clarksville about that. I'd love to hear from a bunch of people.
The thing is, Mark, is that those are all plays where the athletes were the ones that were at fault. It wasn't a rule that was changed. It wasn't a missed call by an official. It was actually something where the players did the deciding. The case that I'm bringing up, I think, would be more along the lines of when Auburn got lucky, when Bo Nix spiked the ball backwards and they didn't call the call the way that it should have been. They get the extra play, they kick the field goal, and Arkansas loses. That was a poorly called moment. I'm thinking that we got a text in here for a moment about the strike zone from Perry Costello. What was that, in the 2012 College World Series? Yes, something like that, where it's like pretty demonstrable that it's the officials' problem, not the athletes. With Sterner, hey, that was on him. With Reggie Fish, on him. With the pop up, that was on the players. I'm talking more about the way the structure is, the rules, and an official blowing a call.
Because, being a former player, Phil, I could tell you 30 plays that I messed up on. I wish I had back. Like 100. I mean, there's so many. Like, I wish I had that one. I wish I had. Yeah, as a competitor, as a player, you never play the perfect game. That's what you're striving to do. I heard Jerry Rice say that one time. He's like, I've still never played my best game, and it's like because it's such a team sport, But you're trying to do the best you can.
But I feel like you can accept it when. Look, I mean, I know athletes that just they can accept when someone was better than them that day, or when they made a mistake, because you're human, and you also appreciate the idea that the officials, the referees, are human too, and they're going to make mistakes. But there is no instant replay for a dropped pass. If you drop a pass, you drop a pass. You don't get a second go around at that same play. You make a bad pitch, you made the bad pitch. Whatever happens on that, happens on that. We now live in a world where there's so much instant replay in all these sports that you can overturn bad calls. We just can't go all these years back, 30, 40 years, even 6 or 7 years, like I was just talking about, and get these calls made right again, because the results are the results, and that just happens to be how it goes. Halftime is brought to you by Joe's Grill and Cantina. You making your plan for Cinco de Mayo? Well, get over to Joe's Grill and Cantina for it, starting Friday through Sunday. Fun for the entire family. They'll have food, drink specials, margarita specials, and food specials, live music, and they'll be open on Sunday, plus endless enchiladas all day Saturday. Joe's Grill and Cantina, Cinco de Mayo, for family fun all weekend. They'll have an annual taco eating contest as well. Joe's Grill and Cantina right across from Harps. They are ready to celebrate with you. You can go to georgefortsmith.com for more information. Bob Holt from the Democrat Gazette, next on Halftime.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence.
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well. Everybody wants to know what's going to go on with the weather this weekend with Arkansas baseball. I don't know what to tell them other than stay tuned. There will be baseball played at some point this weekend. I just don't know when or what days it's going to happen. We'll play at some point. But the pitching rotation is different, and so the pitching staff's depth has just continued to grow. It hasn't been tested in a way where now you lose one of your main starting pitchers over the weekend. So this will be an interesting weekend for Arkansas, certainly no matter what, because you got a decent Florida team coming in. But for the pitching, it's just different than it's been up until now.
Yeah, they've had the
I'd say the rare luxury of having the same weekend rotation all season. And you think about the injuries Arkansas had last year, where they were mixing and matching a lot of the times, and they lost Jackson Wiggins even before the season started, who's going to project as their number one starter. And then they've had some guys a little banged up here and there or having some discomfort or whatever, but this will be the first time they haven't started Smith, Tigert, and Molina. Molina's out with an ankle injury, Dave Van Horn said today, and injured the ankle, twist, I guess, his right ankle, I think. Excuse me. So to be the leg he lands on when he's pitching, and he said he's probably 90%, but they want to wait till he's 100%. So he should be back next weekend. And there may not even be a game 3. Let's see how that plays out. But basically, Smith's been the number one guy all year. Tigert and Molina have swapped spots in that 2 and 3. But Tigert's really probably had his best 2 starts, the last 2, so he looks ready to go, and then we'll see. But Dave said it sounded like it's going to be really hard to play Sunday, so looks. I'm just projecting here. We'll see what happens. Maybe a Saturday doubleheader, and the weather's kind of hit and miss Friday night, so the game's supposed to start at 7 for SC Network. But to me, if it's going to rain later in the night, play that game earlier. It doesn't matter. I mean, with TV. What sense would it make to wait to play a game on TV and then you can only get 2 innings in or something? That wouldn't make much sense. So we'll see. But yeah, you're right. If they do play 3, it's going to be a test of Arkansas's depth. But if anybody, I don't think anybody. Florida certainly does not have the depth Arkansas does.
Well, and you also can't help but look at Florida's statistics, and this is why they're struggling. They're hitting just fine. This is a team that's got plenty of guys in that lineup that can hit, but their ERA in the Southeastern Conference is miserable. It's 6.07. Overall, it's 6.35. It's a team that had really good pitching last year, but it feels like Arkansas's bats have actually produced well enough at home. I'd like to see them get after this Florida pitching staff a little bit. I know a lot of fans would too.
Yeah, Florida's hit 90 home runs. And so they're bashing the ball pretty good, but they beat Stetson. I think it was 13-3 Tuesday night. But they're 8-10 in the SEC. But they played a really tough schedule. I think last time I looked, they were one of the last 4 teams out of the tournament, even though they have a 21-19 overall record, which obviously is very, very mediocre. Dave Van Horn talked about they have a lot of talent. They got guys that are going to be getting drafted professionally and getting nice signing bonuses, and so it's definitely not a team you can sleep on, but you feel like it's a team Arkansas should definitely win this series at home. But the SEC, crazy things can happen. But, yeah, this is a team that you feel like Arkansas should be able to get after offensively. And, of course, Kendall Diggs is back now and healthy. Hold to the outfield has really been a good move. He's played a good outfield, but also it's been a big boost for their offense. Stovall's really hitting well. So, yeah, I can see this. And, Arkansas came off scoring 9 runs against a good South Carolina team. Obviously, run ruled Pine Bluff, UAPB on Tuesday night. So this is a team you can see, like you said, you can see Arkansas getting after them some offensively.
Bob, we got the NFL draft coming up tonight. Do you got what's your favorite draft story or favorite draft story about a Razorback getting picked up, or what do you got going on?
Oh, I don't know. How about I think there was a team that drafted a quarterback and moved into a wide receiver.
That was a fun one.
Well, that was pretty interesting. You went to the Senior Bowl, and I remember talking to John Gruden, and of course I was basically there on the Matt Jones beat, and he was a really nice. Gruden's a good guy.
I like Coach Gruden.
But we'd have media availability every day, and it's like 4 days or whatever. And so I'd ask him something about, well, how'd Matt let's say receiver? He'd say he was real good initially, and he was not bad. But that's the third day he goes, man, you're wearing me out with the Matt Jones questions. And I knew I was from Cape Girardeau, and he had been a GA at Southeast Missouri State, and I'd read somewhere that he'd worked for a carpeting place to help make ends meet when he was a GA. So I just sort of threw out there that my parents had gotten their carpeting put in by whatever company it was, and all of a sudden he brightened up and listened up, and he was great after that. So but yeah, I don't know how many guys there are that they're able to switch positions like you did and be first-round draft picks. That's a pretty good story. I guess my favorite draft story all time is Bart Starr being a 17th round pick, the great Packer quarterback. Obviously, doesn't have anything to do with the Razorbacks, but he did play in the SEC at Alabama. And we talked about Jason Peters the other day. Didn't even get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a Jason Peters type guy out there that's going to be a late pick, or maybe not get picked at all, and end up having a great long career. So the college draft, it's a little probably less a little less unpredictable than baseball, where you may be picking high school guys, or even the NBA where you're picking freshmen. I mean, the NFL, you're picking guys that at least played 3 years of college ball, but it's still a bit of a crapshoot. And I'm a big Packers fan, so I just hope the Bears blow that number 1 overall pick, whoever it is.
And the 9th overall pick too. I'm sure you'd like him to screw both of them up. What are you getting from your Packers today? What do you think they're going to pick?
Well, we're going to take the best available player.
I like it.
I've seen, we always want to take receivers, but all the best ones are always gone by the time we pick, because we're always picking so low because we're always making the playoffs.
Nice dig.
Kool-Aid McKinstry, he's a really good defensive player from Alabama, and you can never go wrong with defensive guys. So if he's available, I wouldn't mind seeing the Packers take him. I think he's a guy that could be available when they're picking. Gosh, it'd be nice to see Brock Bowers fall down to us, but I don't think he's going to last probably out of the top 10 or 11. But we're going to take the best available player. We always have a good draft, even though we pick low, just because we have such a good front office.
Bob, you think McLaughlin gets picked? And do we have another lineman? Any guys? I think McLaughlin can play at the next level, especially if he's healthy. I think he'll get drafted, not in the first round. But is there any other guys on this Razorback team that might get to hear their name called over the weekend?
Yeah, I think McLaughlin. Yeah, he showed he could be a good cover guy. He was a ball hawk, so I would think he'd get picked. I've seen him projected as high as 4th, as low as 7th, but I do think he'll be picked somewhere in there, probably 5th or 6th. But Bo Limmer helped him. I know everybody wants to pile on the offensive line because it was a rough season for those guys, but Bo Limmer is a solid player. Went to the Senior Bowl. He played guard, and then he moved to center, and I think that really helps the fact that he can play both those spots, because obviously most NFL teams, I think, carry 8 offensive linemen. So if you're versatile, that really helps you a lot. I've seen Bo, and Bo had I think he bench pressed he had 39 some bench presses, I think it was, like the most of anybody. So he showed good strength. So I think he'd be picked probably, maybe 5th, 6th round in there. And then, Cam Little's an intriguing guy. You don't see kickers picked high very often. Of course, we remember Steve Little, the former Razorback, was a first-round pick, and Sebastian Janikowski, the Raiders, I think, made him a first-round pick. Cam had a great career at Arkansas. I think he had a really good combine. He's had good workouts. So I expect Cam to be drafted, which is a rarity for a kicker. If you're a kicker and you get drafted, that's really a badge of honor, I think. And so I think Cam, you'll probably see him get picked in the later rounds. And then beyond those guys, Trajan Jeffcoat, I've seen his name mentioned. Sometimes you're better off if you're going to be a late pick, like a 7th-round pick, like 245th or whatever. You might be better off signing a free agent deal, because you and your agent can figure out what's the best team for me to go to, looking at their roster. Like, where do I go to have the best shot to make the team? Although if somebody's picking you, presumably they think you can make their team. But, it's not going to – there aren't any – there's definitely not going to be Razorbacks picked tonight, and probably not any tomorrow. We'll see activity on Saturday, I would think.
You get the NBA draft coming up in a month. The Major League Baseball draft is in July, and that's the one that's the most difficult to figure out. It's just not straightforward. You see somebody picked in the 9th round, you're like, all right, well, hey, they've got plans for this player. Well, not really. A lot of times they save money by picking somebody in the 9th round that has more of a grade of the 19th or 20th round, and there just isn't any of that really going on as far as the NFL draft or the NBA draft. I mean, there's 7 rounds and 2 rounds instead of 20. I can't even get into the NHL draft because I don't know enough about that. But it's the At least this is more straightforward, and the trades can be really fun and the intrigue that goes along with that, but it is much more of a straightforward draft than like what we'll see in 3 months.
Yeah, it's amazing how ESPN and the NFL Network have really turned the draft into a show, like a 3-day show, and a bunch, millions of people are going to tune in to, and see like an hour and a half between picks or something. There's so much time to fill, and of course, it's going to be weird to watch the draft and not see, Chris Mortensen for ESPN. Such a great guy. People probably know he passed away recently, and he was a really great guy and great reporter. And he's an even better person than he was a reporter. And he was an incredible reporter. So I'll think of that when I'm watching the draft for sure on ESPN. Yeah, I mean, the draft has become, like a season unto itself, right? You got the regular season, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, and then the draft. And the NFL done a great marketing job with making it a really big deal and keeping themselves at the forefront of the people's attention and marketing. And they've taken the draft on the road now. It always used to be in New York, and now they're having it in Detroit, and I believe next year it's in Green Bay. And so they was in Kansas City last year, I think. So they take it around, and people just fill the streets. I mean, it's such a happening now, and really more so than the other drafts. And I think Major League, you can't even do trades, right? Am I right about that? You can't trade picks.
I don't think you can trade picks. No, I don't think
so. So that's nice. They bring in a lot of the draft picks into the studio or wherever it is there in New Jersey. But there's nothing like the NFL draft where you have all the drama and you have all the fans there and they're cheering the pick, or sometimes they're booing the pick or booing the commissioner.
Well, that's where it even turns into comedy. I mean, Goodell sits there in a lounge chair, just like bring the booze. It's kind of part of the joke now, I guess.
Yeah, and I think he was the first guy to start hugging the players, and now that's a big deal. I always wonder if one of those big linemen is going to pick him up and accidentally crack a rib hugging him so hard or something. But yeah, the NFL, I mean, they really, nobody markets like the NFL, and they really turned it into a big event. And even obviously the hardcore fans are into it, but even the casual fans, I think, get into it. And we were talking about hours of programming over the next 3 days. It's just people are going to be probably, I hate to say it, more people probably watching the draft than they are like Major League Baseball or and NBA playoffs or something like that.
Bob, it's all great points. We'll leave it there. Appreciate you. We'll see you at Bohm this weekend, okay?
Okay, you guys take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you very much, Bob. Yeah, I remember reading back on what the draft used to be like in the 70s, and I think even in the early 80s. They were just doing it over the phone. They might have been in a conference room together. It was just being done over the phone.
That 1983 30 for 30 draft on the quarterbacks, when they go back and show you that, yeah.
So I mean, this must have been because the NFL is a 12-month-a-year sport now. You might have games from August through January and into February at the Super Bowl, but it's a 12-month-a-year sport. It's an industry in and of itself, not just the season. It had to have started with the NFL draft. That had to have been the thing that kind of turned. Look, the NFL already had surpassed Major League Baseball in popularity by the time that the draft turned into its own industry, but that kind of turned it into a 12-month-a-year thing. Baseball had the hot stove league and free agent stuff and all that kind of stuff. The NFL now, they've got it all figured out. You extend your playoffs into February, you get a Super Bowl in the middle of February, then you get the combine, then you get your free agency, then you get your draft, then you get your mini camps, then you're into the summer, then it's camp, and then it's the season. And I think it kind of started with the NFL draft. It's the first league to really go 12 months a year. Hey, when you're looking for your next side-by-side motorcycle, ATV, or zero-turn mower, look no further than your local Wood Power Sports store. They have convenient locations in Harrison, Springdale, and Fayetteville, and over 9 brands to choose from. Pretty much, if you can think of it, they've got it. Thinking of Can-Am, Polaris, Kawasaki, Yamaha, CF Moto, Suzuki, KTM, Hustler, and Honda. They have 3 convenient locations, Harrison, Springdale, and Fayetteville. They provide you with outstanding service and parts capabilities, even offering deliveries. Want to learn more? Go online to woodpowersports.com. Wood Power Sports, a solid name you can trust. Halftime is back in just a moment.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Hey there, business ballers and entrepreneurs. Ready to make your financial dreams come true? Well, get ready to score big with swishfunding.com, the slam dunk solution for all your business funding needs. Just like that satisfying swish when the ball goes in, swishfunding.com guarantees you a seamless funding experience. Working capital, expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or even covering payroll. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying is easier than a layup. At Swish Funding, we fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. SwishFunding.com's team will guide you every step of the way. No more banking red tape, just quick, decisive action to get you back in the game. Head over to SwishFunding.com and slam dunk your financial goals today. Remember, it's not just a shot in the dark, it's a surefire swish. Go to SwishFunding.com. That's SWISH Funding.com. SwishFunding.com.
This is Halftime.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Yum Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6 inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, Lure.net.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yum Dinger.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. You need the Lindbergh team, home of Arkansas's only instant offer program. Get a cash offer on your home in only 72 hours. Lindbergh Real Estate Group is the #1 team in Arkansas with over $1 billion sold and voted best of the best 10 years in a row, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and now the River Valley. Find out more at lindberghteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Hi there, I'm Sarah, and I just had to share my experience with Mosquito Joe. See, I used to dread spending time outdoors because of those pesky mosquitoes. They would always find me and ruin the fun. I would soak my daughter with bug spray, which hardly ever worked. It was awful. I finally called Mosquito Joe, and wow, it has been quite a game changer. They implemented an eco-friendly mosquito control plan customized especially for my yard. Now I can enjoy my backyard without constantly swatting at bugs and reapplying bug spray every 10 minutes. Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Like I do no wrong. I sing a happy tune. Her name was in my song. But now I'm 14. On the impending doom, just all along. What she said when I left the home.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Just looking through the draft history here, I'm sure fans are aware, just might not have the number on it. There have only been 2 first-round picks to come out of the University of Arkansas in the last 15 years, going back to 2009. So DMAC came out in 2008, second overall pick, and since then it's been Frank Ragnow, 20th overall in 2018 to the Lions, Traylon Burks, 2022, 18th overall to the Titans, and that's it. That's something you'd like to see change soon, too. I mean, the talent level goes along with record sometimes in the SEC.
Coaches that tell you the better players I have, the better coach I seem to be.
Yeah, well, not going to be anybody picked today, and like Bob said, he's not expecting anybody's going to get picked until Saturday. 6 quarterbacks, though. I was looking back at the 5 quarterback draft of 1999. I think you and I brought this up earlier today on the phone.
The Tim Couch one?
Yeah. Couch goes first overall to the Browns. Donovan McNabb went second overall. Achilles Smith went third overall. Wow. I don't think there's been quarterbacks go 1, 2, and 3 in order since the 99 draft. And only McNabb. I mean, Couch had a little bit of a career. Smith was like in and out of the NFL. He didn't stick around very long. I liked McNabb. He was a good quarterback.
Yeah, McNabb was solid. Who were the other 3 quarterbacks in that? Was
Dante Culpepper.
See, Culpepper,
11th overall to the Vikings.
Yep, hurt his knee a little bit. He was a big, strong kid out of UCF. Yeah.
And he was really good with the Vikings, too. I liked him.
Had Chris Carter, Jake Reed, and Randy Moss. I think you could have thrown to those 3 guys, Phil.
Didn't Culpepper have a chance to sit that first year? He didn't have to play. I think
was Cunningham?
Because Cunningham, I think, was running the Vikings then.
Oh, man. Randall Cunningham. He said, of course I can fly. I'm an eagle.
Cade McNown went 12th overall
to the
UCLA
Bears.
To the Bears.
Yeah,
another
Number
Bears
12,
first rounder that did not work out.
Cade McNown had a game. UCLA played Miami. I want to say Edgerrin James was the running back at that time for Miami, and I don't know if J.J. Stokes was one of the receivers on that team, but that was kind of his coming out party, doing it against the Hurricanes. They went up and down the field. Yeah.
Looking through some of the Bears picks at quarterbacks in years. I mean, of course, they went with Justin Fields, 11th overall in 2021. Trubisky was the 2nd overall pick in 2017.
See, where did he come from? You know,
North Carolina.
But where did he come from in the sense of he's kind of like your boy from Michigan right now without winning the national title. How all of a sudden did he just jump up to the number 2 quarterback? Like was somebody definitely was taking a flyer on, but you didn't see anything in college that thought, man, that's the number 2 quarterback in the draft, and then somebody takes him. Like you're looking at this kid, and I know you're on the best team, which Alabama quarterbacks have struggled with this going to the next level. You take the quarterback with the most talent around him in college, then you put him on the team with the least talent around him in the NFL and think that he's going to have success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were asking about Felix Jones. He was a first rounder, but he went the same year that DMAC did. They came out the same year, right?
Yeah, Felix was like 21 or 24. He was around there.
Yeah, they came out the same year
to Dallas. Yeah.
So that would kind of go along with the same point. Just to have 2 running backs on the same team in the first round, and now you've had 2 players selected in the first round since 2008. 877-377-6963. And yeah, big day for the Bears. Not only do they make the first overall pick, they get the 9th overall pick, and they release their plans for a domed stadium next to Soldier Field, right there downtown Chicago, lakefront.
If they
and this is supposed to be the thing. Look, I mean, Chicago is a city that should be hosting Super Bowls and national championship games and all of that, but you don't do that. You don't get that if you are a cold weather stadium and you don't have a dome. So now that's the plan. $5 billion. It'll be a $5 billion enterprise. Now, remember the guy who's running the Bears, Kevin Warren, was the league president for the Big Ten when they made all those moves, signed the huge contracts with the 3 TV networks, basically destroyed the Pac-12, and then Warren left that position to go be the new Bears president, and they thought they were going to build a stadium in Arlington Heights where the racetrack used to be located, but property values, I think, kind of did that whole plan in. Now a $5 billion stadium downtown in which the Bears are kicking in over $2 billion of their own money, and they're asking for $2 billion in public money. So, hey, that's right there by all the museums. It's right there by Soldier Field and everything. This is just, I mean, this is a big day for the Bears.
So the Bears are taking Caleb Williams is what we're seeing at number 1. What makes it a steal for them? Because last year the Texans they got their 2 guys in C.J. Stroud and they got their DN, the new coach DeMarcus Ryans did. What do you think they go Caleb Williams and then take that tackle from Notre Dame that's a can't miss? Brock Bowers can't miss. The other tackle I like is the kid from Washington. It's Troy. I'm sure I'm not saying his last name right, but that dude, he's a stud. I'm seeing Brock Bowers go 12 to Denver in the latest draft,
and they don't have anybody to throw him the ball quite yet.
That's what I'm saying. Do you want somebody to protect Caleb Williams? Do you go get that tackle, especially if he's a guy that's going to be like a Joe Thomas, or do you go out and try to get him a weapon, someone on the outside?
I mean, I'd like to make sure that my investment's going to stay healthy. So I don't know what this.
I'm going left tackle too, Phil. I'm with you. If that kid from Notre Dame's there or Washington, at number 9. That's who would be the top 2 guys on my board. If I'm taking Caleb Williams, the top 2 guys that you're going to have to take both. I'll take either one of them.
What good is it spending money on somebody if you're not going to keep him healthy? I mean, that's why Andrew Luck isn't around any longer playing pro football. They didn't fortify his offensive line, and the guy ended up with like 8 or 9 serious injuries. He just was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And I don't know all the personnel issues or what, they have as far as receivers and linemen are concerned. But if you had to, if you said, well, I'm going to get you a weapon, or I'm going to get you somebody to make you to make sure that you stay upright, I'd go with the upright. I would go, and then maybe later on in the draft, there's a weapon to be found.
Xavier Legette, kid from South Carolina, guy you could get the first pick of the second round. You could get. I mean, I think he's going to be a star in this league, Phil.
877-377-6963 for calls and texts. Yeah, Chris in Springdale does make a good point. Did kind of think Drew Sanders may be a first rounder, but ended up not being a first rounder. Goes Denver and
talent-wise,
play.
Yeah, hey, talent-wise, he's a first rounder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, stay tuned. We will wrap up hour number 2 in just a moment. Want to remind you, though, about the specials. While they still have them going on at Fish City Grill, just a little less than a week left this month. Beer-battered cod tacos, fried in house-made beer batter. Comes with slaw, Fresno chili tartar, and pickled jalapenos, plus cilantro and sweet potato fries on the side. Miso-glazed salmon at Fish City Grill in Rogers. Chilean salmon marinated in Asian miso-glazed sauce. Comes with sugar snap peas, slaw, and lemon basil rice. That's at Fish City Grill, South Bellevue Road, Rogers. You can also call them for curbside pickup or delivery, 479-636-8833, always online at fishcitygrill.com. Hour number 2 of halftime, wrapping up in a moment.
This is halftime.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
When it's time for breakfast, Calico County is making it all from scratch. Yet the dedicated early morning crew at Calico are cooking up and serving buttermilk pancakes, moist biscuits, rich waffles, country fried potatoes, 3 types of gravy, and of course their famous cinnamon rolls and much more. They serve all of this and a lot more 7 days a week until 11 a.m. Stop in, call ahead, or get it to go. Or just come by and pick up a dozen cinnamon rolls for the office. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, roll on into Calico County. They're home cooking good. Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue behind Randall Ford.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Oh Lord, forget about me. I'm doing fine. Oh Lord, forget about me. Be right. Oh Lord, I got no minds for you. I will not please. No mercy shall be given me down in Tennessee.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
All right, I think is the C unit in the studio right now. C unit, you in
Yes,
there?
sir.
All right, you're not with us tomorrow, right? Not doing the show tomorrow. You're gonna be elsewhere. We have the Wolf for his last day studio tomorrow.
Worked out great.
So it's a good thing we got you here right now. So this weekend is Airplane, right? We're gonna learn a little more about Leslie Nielsen. You okay? You're good with the assignment?
I'm good with it.
All right. There is a scene in Airplane where it might help if you have seen Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. Have you ever seen Saturday Night Fever?
No, but I'll look up is there like a certain
There's there's disco scene. Just watch one disco scene of Travolta dancing to "You Should Be Dancing." All right.
Okay.
Because there's a scene in Airplane which lampoons that scene. You need to see that piece. Look, and everybody that was alive in the '70s saw Saturday Night Fever. If anybody that's listening right now, and I know there are many of you who were alive in the '70s, if you haven't seen Saturday Night Fever, you can text me and let me know. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 of you. So, yeah, in order to really get the joke, you got to watch that movie too. Then we'll see if you want to feel like watching Airplane 2, which wasn't nearly as good. But it's made by the same guys who made The Naked Gun, the Zucker brothers, and then you'll recognize Leslie Nielsen the moment that you see him. And then I'll give you a test of some famous lines from Airplane. Later on, like maybe a magazine title that somebody's reading on the airplane somewhere, or what was jiggling in the middle of the aisle of the airplane when it starts shaking at some point.
I like those.
And what famous basketball star is in the movie too, playing the part of one of the airline pilots, I hope you've heard of this guy before, but I'm not going to tell you who it was. It's going to be a good weekend for you, man. Very good weekend. And Matt, I don't think you've seen Airplane, have you?
No, I haven't. I need to add that to my queue. Click and drag that over.
I have a lengthy list that you've given me, and you have a lengthy list that I've given you.
Yeah, I need to get that.
We got some stuff we might have to do over the summertime. I'd put Airplane pretty near the top of the list, but Godfather, you seen Godfather or no? Was that one of them?
I've seen Godfather 1 and 2.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of the Star Wars.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
I haven't seen any Star Wars.
Well, my daughter and I are now on Return of the Jedi, so we're past where you need to be. Sorry, can't watch it with me and Sadie. It's okay.
I feel like I should either watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or do it the regular way. Go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. I don't know, but yeah.
See you by Monday. I'm going to ask you what it's like to speak jive, okay? Don't ask me what it means right now. By the time on Saturday night when you go to sleep, you'll know exactly what it is I meant. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. We're into our third hour in just a moment. Brett Dolan joins us too, and we'll be right back, so stay with us.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the Homestead Tax Credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The Homestead Tax Credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Now is a great time to start your career at Simmons. For a limited time, we're offering up to a $15,000 hiring bonus for maintenance techs, including electricians and refrigeration techs. Simmons offers vacation matching, a 401k plan, and premium health care for team members and their families through our care clinics at no additional cost. Learn more at workatsimmons.com or stop by the Fort Smith Hiring Center at 4900 Rogers Avenue, Suite 103 in Fort Smith. Find out more about the $15,000 hiring bonus and start getting paid sooner with same-day hiring options. We look forward to seeing you.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and thunderstorms becoming likely. Will be in the low 60s north, low 70s south. Chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight, and overnight low upper 50s to low 60s. And some active weather on Friday. Showers and thunderstorms could be strong to severe. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that's the perspective.
Live from the Bush Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime, it's hour number 3. Brett Dolan coming up in about 15 minutes or so. 877-377-6963 calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. I'm Phil. Matt Jones in studio with me. We are live tomorrow at Lumber One in Van Buren. So come out and see us there for 3 hours, and should be a lot of fun. It's our last hour of the C Unit, though, for this week. So this is like your own little personal golden hour C Unit. Although you probably have to produce the morning rush tomorrow. So I don't know how golden you feel.
I got out of that.
You got out of that. All right. So this is your golden hour for the week, man. Mirth, merriment, craziness. Anything you want to say. I'll give you 15 seconds. Go for it. Anything you want to say.
I've got an extra long weekend.
You got 11 more seconds.
It's going to be a long year.
It's going to be, yeah.
I can't even get 15 seconds out of the C.
Who's your NFL team? C Sports.
That would be the Dallas Cowboys.
Who do you want them to go in the draft? Where do you see them going?
Well, I see them getting another offensive lineman or something.
You don't sound too excited about.
I'm just not, man. I've seen too many years. I have no reason to be like they don't make any splashes in the draft. Really, they get offensive linemen, and I mean, sure they have a decent offensive line, but the quarterback play is, I don't know that it's where it needs to be.
You're just not in a position where you can go get a quarterback right now, right?
Right.
The writing will be on the wall for Dak in that case. Be like, all right, you're done. We're just gonna let you play this 1 year and that's it. They're not ready to give up on him yet. At least it doesn't feel like it. I know I know a lot of fans are. I know you are.
I think it's going to be worse than last year. I mean, they may make the playoffs, but they ain't going to be 12-5. They've lost people, and they haven't really, gotten anybody else to replace the receivers. So
you need somebody to go. CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion, can't
do it alone.
Well, he's a top 3. There's not 5 receivers better in the NFL than CeeDee Lamb. You have to get somebody else with him. If Brock Bowers fell to 24, no question. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry. I could see Dallas going defense, Phil.
Really, one of the only teams that would. I think they're expecting to be like 21 or 22 offensive players in the first round, which would be a record. Isn't there supposed to be a record of how many Michigan players gets drafted this year?
They said the Big Ten's going to overtake. It's been 17 years or so. We had your boy the last time. Was it Connor O'Gara who was talking about? The Big Ten might overtake the SEC this year.
Win their national title with Michigan. Then that is kind of like a different sort of a title because the SEC. Every time the NFL draft happens, every time the Major League Baseball draft occurs, whoever's running social media at the SEC is ready to point these things out. They'll be able to point that out for baseball. The SEC will always have more draft picks than any other league in that sport. But with football, for 17 years, it'll come back this way. Although you're going to have more schools. There'll be more schools in the Big Ten. So
and you're getting Texas and OU, although Texas, they had a little lull in draft talent. But I got the Big Ten going back to back because I have Ohio State winning it next year. I think their portal, the addition of Chip Kelly, Michigan will be down. It's Ohio. I mean, Ohio State's going to win every game in the regular season. They're going to have a bye, whatever, be a top 4 seed. I got them going.
I think my Steelers are not going to have like the most sexy pick or anything, but it seems they're going to go after a center because they need one. They released Mason Cole and haven't signed a center in free agency, so the writing's on the wall there. And that's one of those positions that, kind of like head coach with Pittsburgh. It's just you can point down the line of greats, Hall of Famers that have played at that position and helped them stay stable for years. I mean, there was Ray Mansfield into Mike Webster, into Dermontti Dawson, into Jeff Hardings, then Marquise Pouncey, and the last couple of years it's been much different. So whomever gets drafted, I think it's a Notre Dame player that they're kind of targeting. There's a little pressure that goes onto that because there's this pedigree of who's played that specific position for that franchise for years. And there's 2 or maybe even 3 Hall of Famers in there. I think when Pouncey's all said and done, he's going to get some consideration for it too.
Beast mode, no question. I do see a kid from Duke that's rated the 18th player in the draft. He's a center. Pittsburgh picking at 20. Your center has to be the smart. I mean, he doesn't have to be the smartest offense, but yes, he needs to be the smartest offensive lineman. He's got to know just as much as the quarterback when it comes to protections. In fronts and all that. So that I could see that being a pick. I like that kid, Cooper DeJean, the kid from Iowa. I think that would be a good nickelback that could come in and stop the run. You think of Pittsburgh, you think of defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if he looks like a Pittsburgh. Maybe it's that black and gold is why he looks like a Pittsburgh Steeler.
And the idea that the Steelers were kind of the Iowa of the NFL.
I like him. He'll hit you. He can cover a little bit. I think there's a premium on players like that in the way more teams are doing 3 wideouts and you got to have a nickel guys, and he's a tough kid.
Jackie wants Dallas to draft O-line, defense, then running back. And JT says, of course, this goes along with how JT loves his team. And I don't think he loves his team. He just kind of hates the owner and general manager. He said Kool-Aid would be a great pick, so then it's doubtful that Jerry Jones does that.
Fair enough, right?
Yeah, the way he's viewing it there. I saw Greg Sankey. We brought up this idea of the College Football Super League that this organization is trying to, kind of like pitch to various conference commissioners. The organization is called Turnkey ZRG. And they've got a confidential proposal that is supposed to detail what a college football super league would look like. 7 divisions with 10 schools each, and then an 8th division, which would be made up of what is now a group of 5 schools that can be relegated or promoted depending on how you finish in the season. The other 70 schools, which would have to be made up of SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, would be permanent members of this Super League. So then there would just be one division, which would have it would be the only place I know of in all of American sports where there's any form of promotion or relegation. But right now it's just a pipe dream. It's just a concept and nothing else. Because without getting all of the conference commissioners on board and specifically getting Tony Petitti of the Big Ten and Greg Sankey of the SEC on board, it's not going to happen. Well, Sankey was asked about it yesterday at meetings in Irving, Texas, and he says there's a lot going on right in the current landscape, and that the fact that people have interest in throwing ideas out there, that's up to them, unquote. And he continued, quote, I spend my time on what I have to do, unquote. He's not interested in this at all right now. I think what they're interested in doing is fully implementing the 12-team college football playoff, negotiating. I guess the contract has been negotiated with ESPN for the college football playoff after the next 2 years, and implementing that, and then I guess going from there. But at some point, this Super League feels like it's the way that the sport is going to go. It really does. But right now, Greg Sankey is not on board, and until he is, or whomever is running the SEC, whenever the SEC gets on board with it, it's just not going to happen. Same with the Big Ten. It's like if these are the places that have every national champion just about, that where most professional football players are drafted from, these two leagues, then they're going to be the ones that end up saying, yes, we can go along with this, and then maybe it actually does happen. But Sankey is not interested in doing it at all for the time being. Kentucky got a basketball assistant coach. They brought over top Baylor assistant Alvin Brooks III, so looks like Mark Pope is slowly piecing that staff together. We know that Orlando Antigua won't be joining Cal at Arkansas. He's taken a position at Illinois, so you know Kenny Payne. You know about Cal. Sounds like Cal's son is probably going to be on the staff. And outside of that, you know, you get your visits this week. You got, let me roll up my my notes here. You got Boogie Fland. We was told Bland. No, we're not going to go with Bland. We're going with Pland or Gland if we're trying to pronounce his name properly. Boogie Fland yesterday, Billy Richmond yesterday, Jonas Adu soon. Adu also just finished a visit to Baylor. He's got one scheduled for North Carolina. Alabama's also had a lot of interest in him, so he's got a lot of places to visit.
It's free agency.
It's free agency. Fland and Richmond, though, were commits to Cal at Kentucky. Adu, of course, played at Tennessee, so you get these guys on campus, maybe you can get them to make a decision quickly.
I like Adu. Adu had moments where he was just as good as anybody as a big at Tennessee. But Tennessee had a solid team. You know, I mean, he wasn't the focal point of that team. But yeah, he would be. He's a guy that's proven. You've already seen what the kid's done in the SEC.
You know, and I hadn't brought it up, and I've meant to bring it up by now. Yesterday, once we were off the show, Samara Spencer entered the transfer portal. Arkansas's 3-year, guard who can score, can dish, can defend, had great games rebounding sometimes. And, man, I mean, she's all effort. I mean, all effort. But now the program's in a place where they're all top 4 scorers, and, pretty much you're almost like your whole starting 5. I know Carly Keats got in that lineup a few times once, or was in the starting lineup once Talia Scott was done playing at Arkansas. So you do have her returning, but the top 4 scorers and almost the entire starting 5 are going to be playing somewhere else. Talia at Auburn, Sailor Poffenbarger at Maryland, Jersey Wolfenbarger at LSU, and now wherever it is that Sam chooses to play. I'm going to tell you, though, she's not going to go play at Auburn because that's where Talia Scott is playing. And there were rumors of a rivalry between the two of them and maybe between Talia and the upperclassmen. Talia put that out in public on her TikTok page yesterday, and she and Sam had a little back and forth, which did not look very friendly. Now, when you watch the games, you could kind of tell that there was a little something going on as far as chemistry was concerned, even in the way that they played off the court. You could see it too. Now, I'm not privy to the moments that they were together and any arguments that might have happened if there were, but you can tell who spends time around somebody, even in team situations. I just hate that it's come out into the open, and that's what's happened. So, Mike did get one of the top JUCO players, a 6'4" power forward whose name is Vera Ojanua from Barton Community College. Average double-double in JUCO. We'll see if that translates to the SEC. I'm sure she'll be just fine. You get her and Dowda next to each other. That'll be impressive. So maybe you really haven't had players like that playing that same position with that kind of size and defending ability in a while. But it's a big rebuild now, and it has been a big rebuild. But Sam was a holdout until, and I wonder if this goes together, Pauline Love, who had been an assistant for the last 5 or 6 years, well, she just took a job at Alabama. So, it's the same week that Sam goes into the portal. Sometimes these things do kind of work together. But I wish Sam the best wherever it is that she goes. This last year didn't go the way that she thought it would or that anybody else thought it would. And I do think that the lack of maybe personal chemistry with her and Talia, and maybe as Talia says on her own admission, upperclassmen had to have had something to do with that. Brett Dolan joining halftime right after this.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
Occasionally, from time to time, I'll get thrown into that mix. So I think you've got them all. I did do diving once. That was unique for the SEC Diving Championship.
Did you see a triple Lindy? You know what that is, right?
I announced the names, and my analyst told me everything I needed to know. I sat the rest out.
Very funny, very funny. Happy draft day, the first draft day out of the next 3. Not going to see any Razorbacks go, and I guess there'll be some intrigue outside after the first 3 picks. Everybody wants to know what the Bears are going to do with the 9th overall pick, potentially what the Jets might do if they're going to look for a weapon or maybe protection for Aaron Rodgers. Anything that stands out to you in the first round that you'll be looking for?
Well, I suppose a couple of things. Who will be the third quarterback? Will that be Drake May? And then the question is, who's the first non-quarterback? Will that be Marvin Harrison Jr. or another receiver? Probably the Cardinals. And then is there even going to be a defensive guy picked in the first 9 or 10 picks? I think those are probably the storylines. But again, it is a quarterback-heavy opening draft and a wide receiver / tight end heavy draft. So, you know, it'll be curious to see if J.J. McCarthy maybe makes a little bit of a move, or maybe a Malik Neighbors. I guess those will probably be the storylines for at least day 1.
Yeah, we got baseball coming up at Baum Walker too. I think they're going to find a way to get the 3 games in. I just don't think Sunday will happen, just because Sunday looks like a total washout. But it's a team. Look, this is a team that's already adjustable. They have a doubleheader on the road last week and end up taking 2 out of 3. So, you know, it's just this weekend now, you know that Molina's not going to pitch because of an ankle injury. So we'll learn a little bit more about whomever it is that gets thrown into that role, because if it's Colin Fisher or it's Ben Bybee, it'll be the first start that either of them make against an SEC team this year.
You're right. And, of course, then following up, there are a couple of midweek games scheduled next week. So I would imagine if all went well, that would be a Bybee or a Fisher start. One of those guys might get kind of jumped up. And yet this pitching staff has probably been the most resilient aspect of this team. So it might actually kind of be fun. Game 3 would be a Caglione outing, though. He'd be going up against Caglione on the mound for Florida, who is their best pitcher, which is the dynamic there, using your best pitcher in Game 3 because of his hitting prowess and whatnot. And it's a desperate Florida team. I mean, they have to win just to get in for a team that was competing against LSU for a championship in the final series last year. And, you know, Phil, I keep looking ahead at the schedule, and I certainly don't want to jump past Florida because all of these games are tough. But knowing that there's a road trip to Kentucky and a road trip to Texas A&M, it feels like it's important to try to find a way to win 3 games in this series if they can.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, because you definitely have a schedule that's heavy on the back end. Look, I mean, the pitching staff has been so deep and been so successful this year. Starting pitching's been great. Relief pitching has been great. But there might be signs that teams are getting to McIntyre a little bit. And, he just hasn't been able to stretch it out as long as I think they were used to. And he wasn't the first guy out of the pen last Friday. It was Gackle instead. I wonder, there aren't shackles on Hagen Smith. It's not like they're constantly holding him back. It's just they've been cautious with him to a point where he's thrown no more than 105 pitches and no more than 6 innings in a game. Now, what you're expecting every game out there from Hagen Smith, and he's been great. 6 innings or 2 or less runs every time out. But I feel like there's not another gear for him. I'd really like to see what he could do after 100 pitches. I'm not talking about something crazy like 125, but 6 innings, I think this may be a weekend or sometime soon that he gets a chance to go 7 or maybe 8.
I wouldn't argue with you. I think there's something to that, or there's certainly some merit to that discussion. I guess there's 2 conflicting points of view. One, they didn't overuse him early, which I really give Matt Hobbs and Dave Van Horn credit for, with the thought being we'll need those innings at the end of the year, whether that's in a regional or a super, hopefully in Omaha. So the less you throw early might mean the more you can throw late, whether it's pitches or innings. I know Matt Hobbs, in one conversation I had with him a month ago, said, we wouldn't do that to him as far as really kind of push him on that pitch count because the guy could be the first pitcher off the board. I mean, Mark Kingston said that a couple of times after the South Carolina series, this guy will be the first pitcher taken, and if not, a high first-round pick. So there is some responsibility. But I do think maybe if you do stretch him, you need to get the last 2 outs of the 6th inning or the 7th inning. In other words, to kind of shorten the game, especially if we end up playing some 7-inning games at some point with rain or whatnot, just to kind of give him an opportunity to finish what he started in an inning and limit maybe McIntyre to an inning instead of 2 or Gackle to 2 instead of 3. I think there's a lot of merit to that, and I think because of the way they used him, that's available.
All right, what did you think when you saw the news about Sam Spencer? Women's basketball at Arkansas almost as about as good as anybody else. Look, we knew for a while Talia was going to go into the portal. Whatever happened while she went to be with her family in February, it seems it had a lot to do with being uncomfortable around her teammates, and that came out in public yesterday. We knew Saylor was gone. Michaela was out of eligibility, and then Spencer yesterday goes into the portal. Same week that Pauline Love takes a job at Alabama. I'll be really interested to see where Sam ends up, but it's a big rebuild for Mike right now.
Boy, it just keeps getting harder. It's just one wave after another. It's the one thing I dislike about the portal, I guess, and I don't have problems with kids going where they want. It just feels like sometimes you're past a certain point where you feel like you can start building, and then you're losing more players. And then and again, maybe Pauline leaving had something to do with it. I don't know, but it makes it harder then to try and piece together a team. There's not an unlimited number of people out there right now to try and bring them in, and they need more. They need more talent. They need more resources, and whatever it is. It kind of surprised me about Sam. I think she's a little bit like me. She doesn't like change. I think she was very comfortable in her situation in Arkansas, but then again, here we are a month after the season ended, and she changed her mind.
Hey, Brett, Reggie Bush just got back his Heisman, and he was just a tremendous athlete in college. When you look at this draft and I think to some of the games you've called, who is somebody who just left you after you called the game? You're like, man, that dude's an athlete. He's going to be okay on Sundays.
We've talked about a few of them. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. last year kind of jumped out at me, and that's when he had C.J. Stroud. Certainly Jaden Daniels is one. I think even McCarthy has some athleticism in him, too, even though he was used in a different role than Jaden Daniels and some of the other guys were. Matt, I'd be curious to know from you. It just seems like, from 10 years ago and 15 years ago, the athletes just keep getting bigger, faster, and stronger. So it must be fun to be an NFL scout because there's no shortage of athleticism right now, which I guess might make the other scouting intangibles more important. How do they fit in your system? Does the kid have a desire to play football? Does he love what he's doing? Because there's some incredible athletes out there. One thing I don't know about this year's draft, Matt, is if there's enough of the high-end defensive athletes that we've seen. Verse from Florida State's a guy that I saw a couple of years ago, and he certainly has some freak to him too, but maybe it's a little bit different than years past where we were talking about defensive ends and linebackers more than we are wide receivers and quarterbacks and playmakers.
Yeah, I think it's a receiver O-line heavy draft this year. If you're the Bears, let's put on our GM cap for a second. If you're the Bears, and Phil and I talked about this, Caleb Williams being the guy you're going to take. And I think there's some value at the receiver spot. I was brought up a guy, Xavier Liggett from South Carolina. And if you're the Bears to try to win this thing, you take Caleb Williams. Who are you taking at 9? Are you taking one of these offensive linemen if it's Joe Alt from Notre Dame or Troy Fontatu from Washington, or are you going to try to take a receiver at that number 9 pick?
Personally, I like a wide receiver. I've heard them more rumored to be kind of a defensive end or a lineman pick right there. They need to kind of get this right, obviously, with Caleb Williams. Although it does feel like when you do take Caleb Williams and you get rid of Justin Fields, I thought Fields was fine. Was he good enough? Probably not. Did he do enough? No. Did the Bears help him out enough? No. But it allows them to reset the expectations and reset the narrative, because now you're not talking about can Fields win 8 or 9 games. You're talking about can Caleb Williams have a good first year that might put this team in playoff contention. Next year, it changes the whole storyline and narrative. But on the other hand, you want to get this right. You want to win games. It's been a interesting division with Green Bay and now Detroit and others in recent years, of the Vikings that have some talent, and they have not really been relevant. And maybe Williams gives them that chance, but whoever it is, they need to get it right, because you don't get many opportunities where you can get a 1st or the 9th pick in that first round to really kind of jumpstart some of your talent.
I think that look, this has nothing to do with Caleb Williams or anything. It's just with being a quarterback that isn't just picked by Chicago, but being picked by the Bears in the first round and being the first overall pick. There's some layers that go to this here. It's an organization that has been absolutely miserable at developing quarterbacks, choosing quarterbacks, keeping quarterbacks healthy. It's crazy to look at this, and this is the 1-1 pick. It's a lot on it's a lot on somebody. The fans are looking at him as, this is on you now, man, and you are the highest drafted quarterback that we've ever had here.
Right. The whole Mitchell Trubisky thing kind of goes through some of the fans' minds, I'm sure, because, you look at some of these stories, and what I'm intrigued by always is the hit and miss rate. And it does feel like people have missed on about as many quarterbacks that they've hit on. It's about a 50-50 shot whether that guy works out for you, whether you're going to keep him for 3 or 4 years or not. Trubisky sure didn't work out for the Chicago Bears. Can Caleb Williams? I don't know. Someone had a great line today that it's like if Prince played quarterback and you had questions about his makeup or whatnot, or his demeanor. But the kid's got talent, and it does allow them a chance. But you're right, you got to get this one right, because if you're the 3rd pick and you get Drake May wrong, shame on you. But when you miss on the 1st overall pick, that's a hard one to overcome, considering you've had months and months, and you get the world's your oyster. You get that first opportunity to take whomever you want. But they only brought in one quarterback. They only talked to one QB, so it clearly seems to be his opportunity.
Brett, what are you calling this weekend?
Well, I hope it's the Sunday game between the Gators and the Razorbacks. Now, if that gets moved to Saturday, Phil, I'm sitting here watching my son's last games and senior day, which was supposed to be Saturday, which is now today because of the weather. And I'd like to try and catch him Saturday if they play, but then again, we might play a Sunday game on Saturday, and that probably doesn't make sense to anybody other than you, who's used to all the changes from a baseball schedule. So we'll see what Mother Nature has in store. Could she just give us a weekend of normalcy? But I don't think we're going to get it this weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we will. Brett, leave it there.
No.
Appreciate you, man. Safe travels. See you
on
this weekend. Okay.
Thanks, Brett.
It's Brett Dolan here on Halftime with us every Thursday. Hey, I want to thank Courtney Hollingsworth Auto Body for sponsoring here on Halftime. Family owned and operated for over 40 years. Courtney Hollingsworth Auto Body is your collision repair specialist in Northwest Arkansas. You've heard of ICAR Gold Class status. It's the highest training level recognized in the industry. Only 15% of collision repair shops achieve it. Courtney Hollingsworth Auto Body has achieved ICAR Gold Class status. Put your vehicle repairs in the hands of experts. Call Courtney Hollingsworth Auto Body at 479-751-3801. That's 751-3801 and online at CourtneyHollingsworth.com. We're into the home stretch of halftime on a Thursday and right back in a moment.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line Now.
Testosterone levels naturally drop in men with age, often causing a lack of energy, anxiety, weight gain, diminished libido, and performance issues. Don't suffer in silence. Call Maverick Male Medical in Fayetteville today for more about testosterone or weight loss therapy. They focus on your excellent care, optimal health, and performance. Call Maverick Male Medical today at 305-8206. That's 305-8206. Or go to maverickmalemedical.com.
Arkansas, we have heard you loud and clear. That's right, over 300 in-stock heavy duties ready for delivery. And now Ram has lowered the MSRP on their heavy duty trucks up to $10,000. That's right, and Red River has offered up to another $10,000 off. Folks, you won't find a better deal anywhere else in the state than right here. No one's going to give you a better deal during Ram Truck Month. So make that beautiful drive right here to Heber Springs.
Or check us out on the web at redriverdodge.com.
And now Red River, we deliver.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Jaeger's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot buys at any of our 4 locations. Save $90 on the DeWalt 20-volt max trimmer and blower kit. Only $199 with your Ace Rewards card. Triazicide 10-pound granules, ready to spray or concentrate is $7.99 with Ace Rewards. And buy batteries and chargers and get the tool free on select DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Craftsman power tools. Find us online at JagersHardware.com.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Barrels and Brews Bottle Shop at the Hub and Chaffee Crossing has everything you need for your favorite activities. Our knowledgeable staff will be glad to help you with the current specials and our new arrivals of must-have bourbons and whiskeys. Hit the cooler for some of the coldest beer in town or choose from our large selection of amazing wines. Order online or call ahead Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. at the Hub in Chaffee Crossing. Barrels and Brews, voted best of the best in Fort Smith. It will put a smile on your face.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Man, you got a lot of Major League Baseball games in action today. 7 Major League games in action. And that's day games. They're staying away. Big League Baseball knows what they're doing today, Matt. They're staying away from the NFL draft. They really are. I think there are 10 games on the schedule. 9 of them are day games. The Athletics and the Yankees play in the Bronx. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern time. That's the only night game. And the draft begins at 7 o'clock Central time. You'll hear it here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. And then it's also, of course, on ESPN and ABC. But Big League Baseball staying away from the NFL draft. I'm assuming there should be some. Yeah, you got 3 NBA playoff games tonight. The Cavs and the Magic in Game 3. The series now returning to Orlando. Knicks and Sixers in Philly. New York up 2-0, and got the Western Division and the Western Conference in Los Angeles. The Nuggets and the Lakers. So it's actually a pretty good day for you to flip back and forth, right? You can do the NBA playoffs and the first round.
Brighton and Hove Albion, they take on Manchester City. Manchester City has 2 games in hand. It's all coming down to the final. It's going to be Man City or Arsenal that's going to host the trophy.
Pirates are in action now. They're up 5-4 on the Brewers for that great start. Remember the great start? What are they? I forget what they started off as here. Let's see. Yeah, they won their first 5 games. Game over 500 now. It's come back to earth. And again, it's not even May. That's all right. That's all right. It's kind of how you expect some of these things to go.
Cardinals taking another year off?
Looks like it. Looks like it. Their outfield prospects have not worked out the way that they thought they would work out. Dylan Carlson didn't work out. Jordan Walker, it's not like he won't work out. It's just I don't think it was expected he'd be back in AAA after. I mean, he had a good enough rookie season last year. Still trying to figure out starting pitching and everything. And I've seen photos of Busch Stadium for some home games, and it's not a lot of people there. You know, I mean, you let your ownership know how you feel about your team based upon whether or not you spend money to watch them. I don't know what the TV ratings look like as far as the Cardinals are concerned, but I don't remember ever feeling the malaise that I can feel from Cardinal fans right now. And look, the whole best fans in baseball thing happened because you had the kind of franchise that was worth celebrating and worth, pouring your heart into year after year after year. And I always think to myself, show me if you're the best fans when your team isn't any good. The love of the sport and everything, and you can let an ownership take advantage of you to a point. Like the people who are going to Oakland Athletics games. I mean, they're spending their money, and Mr. Gap is taking that money, and even though he's losing money, I guess, on owning the Athletics in Oakland now, he's at least getting a little money back for it. Are you okay spending money on a team or on an owner that you can't stand because you love the sport? I think there's a lot of Cardinals fans that kind of view it in that kind of mindset right now. It's tough. It's tough because you're just not used to it. It's like the Patriots the last couple of years. You've been used to 20 years of nothing but winning. Like I don't have the franchise encyclopedia in front of me or anything, but if I think of the St. Louis Cardinals, if I think of going from, well, let's just choose winning the World Series in 82. If I think of starting in 82, how many years have the Cardinals actually had no hope? Because I think a lot, if you're not going to games in April.
Single digits.
Yeah, if you're not going to games in April, if you're not watching the games in April, that's why I don't watch the Pirates in April. I have no hope. There's no reason to have hope. Cardinals fans feel that way right now. You're looking out for yourself a little bit more than you are looking out at the team. No one's pounding their chest about best fans in baseball at the moment, and I certainly understand the reason why. Chris asked me, where do you rank PNC Park? Up near the top. I mean, really. Part of it's being biased because that's my hometown and the skyline is gorgeous and I love the ballpark, but I'd also like a team that deserves the ballpark. Would I put some of the classic parks in front of it, like Fenway or Wrigley? Probably so, just for the history. So maybe I'd put PNC third. JT thinks the Pirates have a better record than the Red Sox. Well, the Red Sox just swept the Pirates, so the Red Sox actually have a better record than the Pirates. They're 3 games over. The Pirates are 1 game over, and again, it's April, so who knows what's going to happen as far as that's concerned.
The last draft I looked at, Phil, how many Michigan players do you think they have going in the first round?
This year?
Mm-hmm. This is the last draft I looked at. Now, this is on Yahoo Sports.
This year, I don't know. I'm just going to throw a number out there. 3 of them.
So the Alabama, they have the most with 3 of them. They only got J.J. McCarthy going in the first round. Something's going off, right? Something smells rotten in Denmark.
Well, they're supposed to. I think the number was 11 that might go in the draft overall.
But one in the. I mean, they had some D linemen that are just beast modes. Now I get a quarterback. I wouldn't give him a first round grade, and they got him going in the top 10.
Heck, I mean, I don't remember. There was the record set by Georgia a couple years ago. They had 9 players selected. They had 2 guys picked. I think it was back-to-back defenders in the first round. I mean, and Kobe Dean and Jalen Carter. If I remember, they went back-to-back. Might have been the first 5 picks. So, I mean, so does it mean anything if you – look, I mean, first round to 7th round, it's all the
top
draft,
100.
but it's different when you're picked in the top 100, like you're saying.
It really, Phil, the meat and potatoes of your NFL team, it's your first 3 rounds. You got to hit on those, and then you pluck a couple guys, man. You're batting – if you can bat 50-50, 500 on your guys after the 3rd round, then you're a pretty successful GM.
See the news that the Cowboys are picking up a 5th-year option on Micah Parsons.
As they should.
$21.3 million he'll make in 2025 as a defensive end. And if he keeps playing the way he is, it's going to bump up.
Well, I was going to say, do you re-sign him now if you can get him at any type of discounted rate? Like if it's a 7-year, 6-year, because Phil, he's on the short list of Bosa. You're trying to think of defensive players in the NFL right now. There's not a lot of them you can say that are better than Mike. Myles Garrett is another one I like, but he's in the top 5, I think, in defensive players.
And he's only 24.
I'm signing him. Sign me up. I know it's a crazy, with the injuries and stuff. But
and don't do the franchise tag thing with him. Don't piss him off. We're just going to pay you, the equal of the average of the top 5 of your position. I think you're right. You sign that guy to long term if you can.
No question. The one good thing about the franchise tag is that it is multi millions, and it's fully guaranteed. So if you get hurt in your franchise tag, you get all that money. Where in your other contract, it's not necessarily. It might be half guaranteed or certain things, but they're doing better about getting the fully guaranteed and making a lot of your contract guaranteed.
Draft is in Detroit, right? They're doing it in Detroit. I guess it's downtown. Must be near Ford Field. No, they can't be. Look, I've been to downtown Detroit. The area where the stadium is, I went to the Quick Lane Bowl at Ford Field this past December. The ballpark is right next door. There's restaurants and things to do around the stadium. I don't know about how far out until you're around downtown Detroit that things get a little bit hairy. It feels a little different than how long ago was the draft in Nashville? Remember in Nashville, there were no hotel rooms for the bachelorette parties. Bachelorette Party Central, I don't think is Detroit, Michigan. Probably not Detroit, Michigan.
Campus
Won't be an issue.
Martise Park. That's where it's going to be going. It looks like it's going to be perfect. 50 degrees. Looks like
they don't just do it at the stadiums now. I mean, you had Vegas, you had the Bellagio Fountain, Broadway in Nashville. I don't even remember where it was last year, but. Yeah, where are you going to do it in Detroit? Well, what's the name of this place?
It's Martius, Martise. I don't, if that's how you want to say it, but it's Campus Martise. And it says it's busier than usual right now. If you're looking at the live updating, if you're going there, so expect delays because it's busier than usual.
Well, I don't remember the number of prop bets that Neil Atkinson told us about that Bet Saracen has on the NFL draft, but I mean the list really is going on and on and on here. Top 3 picks exact order, top 5 picks exact order, top 4 picks exact order. There's a million different prop bets on the NFL draft right now on Bet Saracen. Of course, they got NBA playoffs, NHL. Also, you got baseball this weekend with Arkansas, UFC this weekend, golf tournaments. All of it right now is available on Bet Saracen. When you want to put a little wager on your favorite sporting event, have it on your phone. Bet Saracen works on Apple iPhones. Just download from the App Store. Android users, download from Google Play. You can always use any web browser, betsaracen.com. But make sure you're inside the state of Arkansas to use Bet Saracen. Time to wrap up halftime. We'll do that right after this.
This is halftime.
Hello, friends. This is Matt Jones from Halftime. Join myself and Phil Elson as we do the show live from Lumber One in Van Buren, Friday, April 26th from 11 to 2, and we celebrate Customer Appreciation Day. Stop by, grab a dog or a burger, talk Razorback sports, check out Lumber One's new showroom, and let's have a good time. That's this Friday, April 26th, halftime live at Lumber One, 3335 Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
When it's time for breakfast, Calico County is making it all from scratch. Yet the dedicated early morning crew at Calico are cooking up and serving buttermilk pancakes, moist biscuits, rich waffles, country fried potatoes, 3 types of gravy, and of course their famous cinnamon rolls and much more. They serve all of this and a lot more 7 days a week until 11 a.m. Stop in, call ahead, or get it to go. Or just come by and pick up a dozen cinnamon rolls for the office. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, roll on into Calico County. They're home cooking good. Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue behind Randall Ford.
Get your fishing gear ready for the 34th annual Judge Greg Ray Memorial Tri-Lakes Big Bass Festival, sponsored by the Sevier County Chamber of Commerce. Saturday, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend. Get your fish on at either Dirks, DeQueen, or Gillum Lakes. With over $30,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. And there'll be a special $10,000 reel the weight prize on each lake if your winning numbers match up. Go online, SevierCountyChamberOfCommerce.org for an entry form. This ad paid for with state and regional funds.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Are you in a constant battle with mosquitoes outside your house? Well, stop smacking yourself in the face and call Mosquito Joe. Whether it's playing ball with the kids or cooking out with friends, Mosquito Joe treatments allow you to enjoy your yard without the nuisance of pesky mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. No more itching and no more wasting time on smelly bug sprays that don't work. Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com or call 479-202-9960 to get more information and a free quote. With Mosquito Joe, outside is fun again.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You jump in front of my car when you know all the time. 90 miles an hour, girl, it's the speed I drive. You tell me it's alright. You don't mind a little pain. You say you just want me to take you for a drive.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
The name Jaden Rashada at some point, who knows what'll happen for the kid in his college career in the future, but he's known more for an NIL deal that went bust at 2 schools ago than anything else. Remember, Rashada was committed to Florida, had issues with the NIL deal. I think he did enroll and then asked out of it, was allowed out of it, transferred to Arizona State, played 3 games at Arizona State, went into the portal. Now he's committed to Georgia. Think he ever plays a down for Georgia?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a Randy Moss situation, but obviously, Phil, there's talent there. It might be in between the ears with him. I don't know, but
that's also the thing. I wonder. So people text in all the time about, hey, it's a warning bell when somebody goes into the portal 3 or 4 times, but talent will always get
give
somebody
you a shot.
interest.
Yeah, you keep getting a shot, and kids mature at different ages. All that. I've never seen a kid play. If I was, does he want to? I don't know. You got to get reps somewhere. You got to be QB1 somewhere. If you just keep floating around being QB3, I guess you're collecting your paycheck though. But if you want to go to the next level, Bo Nix is a perfect example of a guy that got better each year, and now he's turned himself into a first-round draft pick.
Well, I think obviously he wanted to play in the SEC to begin with. So
yeah, wasn't he a Florida commit?
Florida commit. Arizona State, I think,
Florida
has
doesn't have a quarterback. How do you think Florida's been kicking themselves since they let him leave? Because they haven't had a quarterback since he was the guy coming in.
Yeah, that's true. They had Graham Mertz last year. I have no idea who's going to be quarterbacking for Florida next year. But anyway, that was just kind of came off as interesting because this is one of those kids that's He's always going to be known for this NIL deal at Florida that went awry, more than anything else. That's halftime for your Thursday. Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast will be ready to go if you missed anything on the show, and Ruskin and Zach take you right up until the first round of the NFL Draft, which you can hear tonight at 6 o'clock on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Of course, it's also televised ESPN, ABC, and the ESPN app. We are back with you tomorrow. Matt Jones and I will be at Lumber One in Van Buren. So come out and see us. We'll all give a woo together, especially during the golden hour. For Matt Jones, for the C Unit, I'm Phil. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Now, get up, get out, woo, and get better.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero